Hi everyone, it's Mrs. MacPhail. Two learning objectives today. Number one, I can solve division number stories. And number two, I can interpret what a remainder means. Interpret is just a fancy way of saying I can figure out. And a remainder is part of an answer to a division problem, sometimes. We're going to figure more out about that today too. So poor old Mr. Nutty, he was playing with the calculator on the problems I'm about to show you. I told him not to play with it, but he did. And he thinks he broke it, the calculator that is, because he keeps getting really weird answers. And he's going to show you what he means. So he's wondering if you can help him. Are you okay with that? Okay, cool. Let's go on. It's okay, Mr. Nutty. We'll get this figured out. So here was the first problem that Mr. Nutty had to show me. A farmer wants to pack 246 eggs into egg cartons that hold a dozen eggs each. How many full cartons will that farmer have? Well, let's look at our numbers here. We know that there's 246 eggs total. And we have egg cartons, and each of them, we see the word each here, each carton holds a dozen eggs. We are trying to find out how many full cartons will that farmer have. So if we were to write a number model for this, we could say 246 eggs divided by, oops, that's a 6, sorry. And we know that a dozen is equal to 12. And she wants them into egg cartons that hold 12 eggs. So we need to group those 246 eggs into groups of 12. All right. Now that's a really hard division for me to do on my own. Okay. So I'm going to use my calculator. So Mr. Nutty, let's go ahead and use our calculator. This is our number model so far. 246 eggs divided by groups of 12. So let me grab my arrow. 246, my divided is the slashed key, divided by 12, is equal to 20 and 5/10. Oh, Mr. Nutty, that doesn't make sense? Okay, well, let's think about it. What are you confused about, Mr. Nutty? Oh, you're confused about that decimal point at the end. Oh. Well, that decimal, the 0.5 or the 5/10, that's the remainder. We've done the division, or the calculator did in this case, and it's shared equally 20 times, but there's still some eggs left over, so we have a remainder in this case. So that means that 246 cannot be shared equally into groups of 12. So there's going to be a leftover. It's shared equally a certain number of times, but not all of those eggs are going to be shared equally. So 246 eggs into groups of 12, because each carton has 12 eggs, is equal to 20.5. Now here's the actual question that you're looking for. How many full cartons will she have? She will have 20 full cartons. Because remember, the 0.5 or the 5/10 mean that there's extra left over and there's not quite enough to go around another time. So the answer is 20 full cartons. See, Mr. Nutty, it's okay. It didn't make sense at first, but I think you're going to get better at this. Let's try another one for you. There are 263 pencils. Whew, that's a lot of pencils. A box holds 50 pencils. How many full boxes of pencils are there? Let's take a look at our numbers. 263 pencils, that's the total. Those pencils are going to be split into boxes of 50 pencils each. So that's division. 263 pencils divided by boxes of 50, so groups of 50. And we don't know the answer to that. We could draw pictures and figure it out, but I really don't want to count up to 263. So we're trying to find how many full boxes. That means boxes where there's going to be 50 pencils in each of them. No more, no less. Let's go ahead and use our calculator here again. 263 divided by 50. 5 and 26/100ths. Oh, Mr. Nutty, it still doesn't make sense to you? Oh, it's okay, we just learned about this. Let's talk about it again. You didn't break your calculator, don't worry. Remember that we're trying to find 263 pencils split into equal groups of 50, and we're trying to find the answer. We don't know it yet. When we put that into our calculator, we got an answer of 5 and 26/100ths. So remember that the decimal part, that's the remainder. That tells us that when we divided, there wasn't enough to go around another time, but there were enough to go around 5 full times. So that means that we are going to have 5 full boxes of pencils. There will also be some left over, as our remainder says. A bus holds 36 people. 155 people are going on a field trip. How many buses are needed? 155 people are going to go onto buses that hold 36 people each. How many buses are needed? Let's set up our division number sentence. We're starting with 155 people. We need to get all of them onto buses, and one bus is going to hold 36 people. Let's use our calculator to figure that out. Oops, let's try that again. That's what the clear button's for. Oh my goodness. There's so many digits, Mr. Nutty. I know. It's okay. Remember, we're trying to do 155 people onto buses of 36 people each. How many buses do we need? This time, we know for sure we need 4 buses because those 36 people, we're going to need 4 buses to get them on. All right, so each of those 4 buses are full. However, there's something else to this part now that we have to keep in mind. The fact that we have a remainder tells us that there's more people yet. So we're going to need another bus, but that 5th bus, in this case, a 5th bus, is not going to be full because otherwise we would have had an answer of 5 whole digit on the answer over here. So in this case, we're going to need 5 buses. 4 of them are going to be full with 36 people each, but we have a remainder, meaning that there's leftover people, and we need to make sure that all of those people get to that field trip. So in this case, they're going to need 5 buses. Okay, it's your turn now.